I am going to make some tomato soup. So, and you're probably wondering, what in the world is this? This is my apple press. I normally make apple cider with it. But instead of going ahead and scoring and peeling all these tomatoes, I'm going to put them right in that hopper and I am going to grind them up, and that juice is going to come right out of here. So stick with me and watch how this magic happens. And I promise, no more tomatoes this season. So this type of food mill can also be used for, and it's really used to make all of our apple cider in the fall. We put bushels and bushels of apple cider. Yes, this is the fun of this job, is that you get splashed with the spray of the tomatoes. You use this for apples to make that apple cider in the fall. And the other thing that we've started using it for is to squish our grapes and make some grape jelly to get just the same thing. You're getting that juice that's sealed by all these tough skins. So we run our grapes through here and we'll make some grape jelly. So I will put a link in my description about this type of press. You can get smaller ones. This is a double one. It's a very big one. It handles a lot, but you're constantly in motion when you're doing the big bunches of apples in the fall. So, and it's also a workout for you too with the apples. So anyhow, I'm going to continue squishing these apples and I'll be back. I mean tomatoes. As you can see, the juice is just trickling out there as the tomatoes were going through the grinder. There's always that juice that's running through the netting here. You can see this netting that you pull over onto the wooden basket. It's open, and then you put this netting here. And our next step, what we're going to do is we're going to put this board underneath here. I'm going to raise this up, and we're going to put this board on top of here. And then we will slowly lower this down, and it will squish all of our tomatoes and make even more juice than we've already got in the bucket. So I will get this on here and we'll start squishing, and I will show you how much juice that we get from it. Okay, so we're back here. You can see what I've done here. I've taken this netting off from around the edges, and you will just take it and lift it up, give it a good shove so it gets really tight down there. And then just take it and cross it and roll it real tight. And then you're going to place this board in here on top of it. And then we will put some poundage on it to press it down and get the rest of the juice out. Okay, so we have got our tomato soup back in our Nesco roaster, just like we did with the chili sauce, and we've got all the spices on it, and we are ready to cook it down. Look at those onions and some basil, oregano. We got some bay leaves. We've got some brown sugar in there, and I'll give you the full recipe as we fulfill this whole tomato soup recipe. After 10 hours of slowly cooking it down in the old Nesco roaster here, this Westinghouse, oh, this is an amazing, amazing old pan. You can find these on eBay, Craigslist or whatever, even in some good antique stores, but is a great way to cook down these large batches of soup that you're gonna make, or again, I used it for my chili sauce, and you can see how much it's cooked down quite a bit over the 10 hours. And so this spiced tomato soup is just going to be awesome this winter. You can see the consistency. I'm really happy with it. It's gotten thicker. It looks a little bit runny, but I'm very satisfied with the consistency, so that's why I'm going to start jarring it up. If you like your soup a little bit thicker than this, you can always make a rouge to add to it while it's cooking down. I made just a little bit. It's just one stick of butter with a cup of flour, and you can double that depending on the size of your batch, but that will thicken your soup up as it's cooking a little bit. So I added that midway through. It was one stick of butter, 1 cup of flour. I melted the butter and whipped it up with a whisk and then whisked it into this, and it gave it a little bit of thicker consistency. So I'm gonna go ahead and can this up, and again, warm jars, warm soup, clean those rims really well, and I am going to pressure cook this and seal it in my pressure cooker. I'm not gonna do a water bath with this. I'm gonna use my Ball Fresh Tech canner, and I'll show you that as I get my jars into it. Okay, as you can see, I've got my Ball Fresh Tech canner going here, and it is selected on tomatoes, and it was option number 3, and that is all based on what the directions and the instructions that Ball gives you for safe canning for processing this type of sauce or juice with tomatoes. Okay, our second batch has finished, and getting ready to open this up, and there they are. So 4 more quarts are finished canning in the Ball Fresh Tech canner. So we got our jars all out of the canner. We got, what did we get here? 7 quarts plus this 1 special pint. Out of the oven, those hot buttermilk biscuits that we just learned, and even better, it goes along with a nice cup of warm herbed tomato soup that I just made with all those tomatoes. I just got done canning them, and I was lucky enough to get nice 7 quarts out of there, and I also have a pint jar of it. That pint jar is going to the state fair this year. That's how good I feel about this recipe. Fingers crossed. But anyhow, I hope you'll enjoy making this. I did use a high pressure canner with this one. This is my Ball Fresh Tech canner. I don't believe Ball makes this canner anymore, but there are some available out there on eBay, and looking around, you'll be able to find some of them. There is some new canners that I'm gonna put in my description below that are really good that I've used and experienced with some other canners that you can use as a high pressure canner. But I did do the high pressure canner on this, and it took about an hour, a little bit. I think it was 64 minutes by the time the pressure built up, and then the pressure was at the peak, and then by the time it cooled down, it was about 64 minutes. So anyhow, this soup is excellent. Get some tomatoes while they're still coming off the vines, and enjoy it this winter. And until next time, take care and happy cooking.